Hello everyone, welcome back to ANZ Stadium, the Olympic Stadium, and almost full to capacity, and a sea mainly of sky blue, 15,000 of the Blatchy's Blues ensconced at the northern end as Cameron Smith takes Queensland out to defend the championship that they've held for 7 long years. So the Maroons with plenty of voices, and they're camped down at the southern end of the ground. But this wonderful side, 6 of them have been part of the dynasty since day one, and that forms the nucleus of their success. Here's their reception. Four of them, I think you're fair to say, genuine superstars of the game. And now the much anticipated New South Wales side leaving the sheds behind their popular captain, Paul Gallen. 8 years since they've won a series. And they've got a very big voice waiting for them. Listen to this now. But of course, between their success and a win in this series stands what has been a virtual roadblock for 7 years. The great Queensland team. Paul assembling the Blues down to the southern end. The Queenslanders getting ready at the northern end for the rendition of the national anthem. And that will be performed by the daughter of Steve Mortimer, Erin Mortimer. It's game 97 we're waiting for, and Origin's 34th year will soon be underway. A galaxy of stars dressed in the sky blue of New South Wales, and of course in the maroon of Queensland. Brad Fittler's part of the New South Wales side. Brad?
Oh yeah, Ravi. This is wonderful, mate. Great experience hanging in there with the boys. Their last words of encouragement from both Laurie and their captain, and then to come out to 85,000. What an absolute privilege. You can see both sides are ready. This is what we play footy for. This is what it's all about.
Aerial view of the Olympic Stadium, and we stand by for the national anthem now.
Gentlemen, please be upstanding for the Australian national anthem, to be performed by the daughter of one of New South Wales' great leaders, Steve Mortimer. Please welcome Erin Mortimer.
Stunning, and just as spectacular as the scene here, the landscape at the Olympic Stadium, which back in 2000, of course, for you people watching overseas, and we're going through 91 countries around the globe, was built specifically to accommodate the Olympic Games of 2000, the year that our Kathy Freeman won the 400 metres for women. The Blues just limbering up then. But what must never be lost on anyone is the colour of the Queensland side. It has been a champion quality. They are a gold medal team. Will they continue on with this amazing St George or Black Caviar-like success, or will it come to an end this year? That is the question. And it won't be answered tonight, but somebody is going to get a fly start. New South Wales haven't won the opening game since 2008. But at ANZ Stadium, only 6 openers have been played here, and the Blues have won 5 of the 6. Referees then are Shane Hayne and Ashley Klein. Queensland will run to the southern end. And to all you people watching, as I said, around the globe, we hope you enjoy it. This is one of our top shelf sporting events in Australia.
All right, boys, here we go.
So Origin in its 34th year, and game 97 is underway off the boot of Cameron Smith, and it's gone to the captain. He wanted the first carry, and he got it exactly when required. So Gallen will play the ball just outside his own 10-metre line, and this is Hoffman, who played under 18s, in fact, for Queensland. And then under 19s, I think it was, for New South Wales. Native of Canberra and played junior football at Campbelltown. Greg Bird is with the ball. The lock forward for New South Wales in 13, and James Tarmo will play the ball just inside the 40-metre line. The Blues end of the park, and Luke Lewis comes in from Cronulla. He's picked up, and he probably contributed to the way that tackle looked, and Nate Miles went in and completed the tackle. And now the first kick for New South Wales at the back of their first set off Pearce, and it's taken by Slater. He went from the infield back into the in goal, so he's made to play on, and he'll play the ball 8 metres away from his own line. They come away from the northern end of the ground, and that's Darius Boyd, who had an ankle injury coming into the game. Several of them have a little cloud over them, the Queenslanders. Justin Hodges, and of course Jonathan Thurston. He could have some pretty important things on his mind at the moment, but right now you would think it is just about winning this game. It's being played by Nate Miles, and they come outside the 30-metre line, and Ashley Harrison, one of the unsung heroes really for Queensland and their success. He plays the ball, and it goes away to the boot of Cronk, who destroyed New South Wales in the series decider last year when they won 21-20. It comes down to the services of Morris now, and he'll play the ball on the 40-metre line.
That's an excellent result for New South Wales on the back of a wonderful first kick from Mitchell Pearce. Got it inch perfect. Billy Slater forced to catch it just on his own line. And the return kick fielded by Brett Morris, 40 out from his. So early field position for the Blues. That's Greg Bird's second carry.
Bird then will tell you in no uncertain terms how he loves the brutality of Origin football. They go away to maybe the X factor. Hayne got a ball away to Morris. That's Josh Morris playing right side centre. Brett Morris left side wing. It comes away then from Ferguson, his first touch of the night for one of those on debut. Lewis will play the ball, middle of the ground, 20 metres out down to the Queensland line. So they go in this arm wrestle to work it out early. Maloney's kick is out in the field of play. Tate went up, the ball came down. It came off Tate, went forward, knock on is called by Shane Hayne, one of our central referees with Ashley Klein tonight. Steve Clark and Henry Perinara are the video referees.
Well, the first 2 kicks of the game by New South Wales have been attacking efforts. And if you can get enough of those, eventually you'll force the error. Both of them bombs, the second one fumbled. Now the Blues get the scrum feed. Well, just out from the Queensland line.
The Queenslanders blowing up Deluxe on that occasion, saying, well, Tate didn't even touch the ball. It was actually knocked forward by a Blues player.
I think they got it right too, Wally. It was a tough call.
So that scrum is packing down 20 metres infield and 10 metres away from the Queensland line. New South Wales given an early opportunity, and Bird taking the play to within 5 metres of the line. Dummy half is Farah, the West Tigers captain. He goes long to Pearce, who goes in to Lewis. Luke Lewis, Wally Lewis, of course, the Queensland great, is in the commentary box with us tonight, as Gallen works a run around with Farah, and then Maloney, and then Hoffman. And Hoffman, who loves attacking down that left side, he'll play the ball, tackled by Fide. Farah then back to the middle of the ground they go through test sets of hands, and it's with Gallen, and Gallen struggles to retain his feet, but Scott comes in over the top to get with Miles, and they put him down right in the middle of the ground. It goes away to Pearce again. Lewis, a tap down to Hayne. Hayne's over. There's the first try of the game. Jared Hayne scores his 8th Origin try in his 17th game, and only his 3rd game in his pet jumper, the number 1.
And the set play worked very nicely. That's a play you see from Queensland. The inside ball to Jared Hayne, and he had plenty to do. One of the great athletes in our sport. Excellent little ball back on the inside to Luke Lewis. He's hit well short of the line, but spins out of the tackle of Hodges and Slater and slams it down for opening points.
Well, Jared Hayne claims the first try of the night. The first try of the series has gone to the man that many thought would be the X factor, certainly if New South Wales are to win the series. As I said, he's playing fullback for just the 3rd time. So there's Jared, the Parramatta captain, in the number 1 shirt for just the 3rd time in his 17th game. And I remember reading where Paul Gallen went to him the day they went into camp, and he said, I might be the captain, I might have the C next to my name, but you can be the leader. So then from the intersection of the 20-metre line and approximately the 20-metre line in from touch, it's Maloney on debut, raising the flags. That will do his confidence the world of good. Andrew Johns is sidelined tonight.
Yeah, nice couple of touches from James Maloney. His first touch was a beautiful kick to the corner, in which Brett Tate puts the ball down. You see this, puts the ball on the spot. This is what Laurie Daly will want off his 5'8". Finishes his set off, getting a result. And then have a look at the skill of this play here. Outside, inside to Hayne. The skill there was phenomenal, and Hayne is the X factor, all right.
So Queensland roll us back into the second section of this game, and it is Paul Gallen again who carries the ball out, 15 from his own line, playing it for Robbie Farrell, and then going to Ryan Hoffman, who beat the tackle of Matt Scott, but he's stopped there by Justin Hodges together with Cooper Cronk. Here's Farrell getting out from dummy half and making a lot of metres, very close to the sideline. And Brett Morris in number 2 ushers him back in field as it goes to Pearce and then goes to Bird, running off a pivot on that occasion. He'll play the ball on the western side of the ground, just on his own side of halfway. And big James Tarmo shoulders his way down the ground. So the gains by Farah and Tarmo have been significant on this set as Pearce puts a kick up high to Slater. Up goes the foot out the front. And Slater will play the ball inside the 10-metre line. Thurston then for Greg Inglis, and they pick him up and dump him on his back.
That's a great tackle from Greg Bird in the main as Queensland looked to bring it out. I apologise to Justin Hodges. It was actually Greg Inglis on the far side, but Hayne was able to beat Tate tackles now. 5th game in a row where New South Wales have scored the first try, but the last 9 games the Maroons have led at half-time.
Play by Miles, he was tackled mainly by Farrell. And there's the clearing kick from Cronk, taken down on the 30-metre line by Ferguson from Canberra on to Burwin. What a run it was. Lost the ball, knock on against Blake Ferguson. So a bit of ecstasy followed by a bit of agony for the young man from Canberra.
Yeah, and you've been thinking about that first run all week. There's the New South Wales coaching team up there. They'll be very happy with the start to the game. Blake Ferguson charged that ball up at 100 mile an hour. He has got a little bit of a loose carry, though. Sometimes he's got both points facing there. See there, and he'll just come down and hit the ground, and I say the ball will bobble loose here.
So there it is. Just coming from his grasp as he endeavoured to get up and play the ball.
And that was a huge bonus for Queensland as well. They'd only made 12 or 13 metres in the previous 5 tackles, having plenty of trouble-making territory.
Play by Slater on halfway across the face, picking up a run by Sam Thaiday. And Thaiday will play the ball with the Blues leading 6-0. A try coming for Jared Hayne at the 5th minute of the night. And this is Nate Miles who play it. 31 metres out from the Blues line. And it goes to the left side for Smith to go behind Scott to go to Thurston, and then an inside run for Inglis. And Inglis will play this ball 24 metres out from the New South Wales line as it comes across to Scott again. Cowboys, of course, supply the Australian front row. Matt Scott part of it, and it's gone to Cronk over into the corner. They're going to test young Ferguson. He was equal to the task, and he'll play the ball down on his 10-metre line. So that would please a group of people I know are watching in Canberra tonight at the Carbine Club luncheon. And many of them, of course, great rugby league supporters. And here's the ball coming free from Tamo. Then Cameron Smith, he dropped the ball. It'll be a double knock on, no advantage to the second side that handled. So Queensland will get this feed.
I'm just wondering whether or not James Tamou was actually watching the ball here. It seemed like a very soft knock on. He's shaking his head in a little bit of embarrassment and frustration. The ball sort of comes to him, and he just looked away and spilled it. Great opportunity for Queensland.
Similar opportunity here for the Maroons that New South Wales were afforded back at the 5th minute.
Drag him back.
It's no excuse for Tamo, but you would like the ball out in front of you, coming out from your own end. He certainly took his eyes off it. Great attacking position here, centre field, 15 out.
But it's come to Hodges, and Hodges playing it in the middle of the ground. As you can see, 10 metres out from the Blues line, Cameron Smith, the way it goes to David Shillington. And Shillington will play the ball. Again, still in the centre of the ground. They go behind the decoy to Thurston to go short to Harrison. And Harrison from the Gold Coast, he will play the ball. Back again for Cameron, who hits the blind side, and Greg Inglis has got the ball, but he's also got the attention of at least 3 Blues, 4 of them in fact. Played by Inglis, goes back deep for Thurston, across behind the runner, then to Friday running a decoy. Pulled out in back play was Slater, and nobody said anything, so it must have been okay. Here's a little kick by Thurston, and up they go, and Jared Hayne went high above Billy Slater to pull it down.
Perfectly placed. He really read that well there, Jared Hayne.
It's a good tackle there. Nate Miles, Matt Scott combining on Paul Gallen.
This is Ferguson. Playing it on the 20-metre line, his own into the park, and Robbie Farah. A permanent wearer of the New South Wales 9 after a torrid battle to get into the jumper. And now he sweeps it away to the right from Maloney, who's on debut at 5/8. New South Wales have had 8 5/8 debut, and none of them came away victorious in game 1. So Maloney's got a bit of a load to carry tonight. Now this is Darius Boyd.
Ray, you mentioned that Billy Slater was interfered with in that last attacking raid. Michael Jennings came racing in just in case Slater got it. And by racing in, I'm sure that that's something that Cooper Cronk and Jonathan Thurston will have noticed. They'd look to take advantage of later as Matt Scott takes it over the halfway line.
Play then for Hodges in the white pink boots, taking it down to the 40-metre line. And Cameron Smith spinning it away out to the left, and the kick is on, and Cronk it is that puts it down to Ferguson. And they're really working him over, aren't they, Blake Ferguson? Second time they've gone to him in as many minutes. Both times he's answered, and answered strongly after a little blemish on his first carry. Here's Jared Hayne dancing his way up to the 40-metre line, playing the ball for the Blues, who lead 6-0. A try to Hayne after 5 minutes. Tamo runs into a maroon brick wall, and now he's put down. 7 away from the halfway line, that is. Luke Lewis, and Lewis is able to make a very good run, and eventually it was left to Cooper Cronk to pull him down around the bootlaces, and Farah kicks out of Dummy half, it's on the ground, it's been picked up by Jennings, it's gone on, there's a dummy from Hoffman, it goes to ground, might have been pulled out by Queensland, but Ashley Klein said no. It'll be a scrum, it'll be a feed for Queensland.
I made a call, it was close.
And these are the little moments that happen in Origin, unscripted play. You don't train for this sort of thing, but all of a sudden the ball is available on the ground. Out from dummy half, tries to get the kick, there's a ricochet. So many tries here, dribble through, Jennings picks it up, gets it away. There was a chance of 2-on-1. Plenty of maroon jerseys scrambling back though, and Hoffman here in trying to get the ball back to himself, loses it.
The referee had actually signalled 6 again as well, saying that the Queensland defender had actually played at the kick, so it's a huge opportunity missed. As Andrew Fifita, one of the 4 players on the booth for New South Wales, ready to come in for his first action.
Just 15 minutes into the game, and Queensland rocking it away towards the 30-metre line down the centre corridor, played by Miles. The carrier is Shillington. They play the ball inside the 40-metre line. State of Origin 1, Holden State of Origin for the first time, and coming to you on the 9 Win and NBN networks around Australia, and of course around the globe. As Cronk puts a kick down into the in goal, and Brett Morris urgently goes back. Not frightened to pass, goes away to Jared Hayne, and Hayne is pulled down, and a third man came in over the top there, Nate Miles. It's Jennings now, looking for his speed, and he goes 25 metres out from his own line. Farah scoots into dummy half, gets the ball away on the right, it goes through Pearce and goes to Josh Morris. And the Canterbury centre will play the ball, and it's a penalty going to the Blues. Hand on the ball against Queensland is the call.
Well, that's nice from New South Wales. Right from the time Brett Morris picked that ball up in his own in goal and linked with his fullback, the confidence to keep putting the ball through the hands, even though they're in their own half of the field, meant that in the end Queensland had to try and slow the play of the ball because they just couldn't contain them, and that drew the penalty. It's nice, positive play.
Yeah, it certainly got them on the roll, Gus, and that's where Queensland are struggling to match New South Wales at the moment. Coming away from their own territory, New South Wales are getting out of their own danger zone quite comfortably, making 20 or 30 metres every time.
So this is Fifita with his first touch. That was the first penalty of the game. It came 16 minutes into the match. And here's Greg Bird, again able to make inroads. He's up to the 30-metre line for a quick play of the ball, and Farah goes away to the other side, and Fifita comes in. They played together, of course, at West Tigers, and Farah makes no secret of the fact that he's very disappointed that Fifita has left the club and gone to Cronulla. Tamo loses the ball, but it's a rake against Queensland. The ball has been stolen by Cameron Smith is the ruling. James Tamo was the carrier.
Well, they're on a roll, New South Wales. They certainly have the momentum, but when you've got 2 gift points on offer, especially when you lead by a converted try, you take them, and James Maloney signals to the posts.
We'll take the kick after this break. So James Maloney, under the instruction of Paul Gallen, is going to pick up the 2 on offer rather than go for the 6. And it would seem a simple kick for him. Much closer, really, and less angular than the conversion he made on the Hayne try. James Maloney, born out at Orange and played his junior football at Gosford, plays with the Sydney Roosters, about to attempt to kick this penalty from close range to take the Blues out to an 8-0 lead. 19 minutes of the game will be gone. Maloney, he's successful. He's had 2 kicks for 2 successes.
Well, all his teammates are already up the other end of the field. They conceded the fact that he would kick it, showing a lot of confidence in the rookie. Look at the big Blues, Blacksheep Blues up there at the northern end of the ground. I can remember when it was just a mob of 20 blokes. Now there's thousands of them down there. Have a look at them. That's a crowd.
Cameron Smith Kicking off again. Queensland now looking up at an 8-0 deficit. And Fifita is able to pirouette away from a would-be tackle. They've broken this front line a lot of times, and Lewis is up outside the 40-metre line.
It's the footwork, Ray. The forwards for New South Wales have superior footwork. Even a man like this, James Tamo, for such a big man, very good at his feet going to the line.
Play back for Farah to come away to Maloney, and Maloney goes through. Races inside the 30, steps off his right foot. He was looking for support. Hoffman arrived a fraction late, but Maloney will play the ball. 5 metres out, and they've been penalised for lying in the tackle. New South Wales another penalty. Now they come in from all directions.
Mitchell!
Whether they kick again for goal.
Well, you can do it step by step, or you can say, OK, we've got the advantage, now let's ram it home. They are way on top at the moment, the Blues. Way on top.
And I wouldn't be surprised with Cooper Cronk. He doesn't normally react. He might just be looking to spark his team here. Just get them up, get the adrenaline flowing.
It mightn't have been what the referee wanted to see at that stage, Sturlo, but if I was one of the Queenslanders, I would have been hoping that a brawl was about to start. Just try and spoil New South Wales' game, take it out of their mind as much as possible.
That's something you would have done.
Perhaps tonight that would have been the case. I think it wouldn't be a bad thing either. Just take New South Wales' mind off their game.
Yeah, it's a reminder to the New South Wales outside backs, though, that Maloney has the ability to dummy and duck and come out the other side. He got into open space there, and there weren't too many players in support. They were well away from him. But, you know, you can't knock this attitude either, that if we can take 2 points, there's a long way to go in the series. If we're just going to get there step by step by step, that's the way we'll do it.
So James Maloney very much in focus tonight. 2 from 2. He's been most important in what's happened thus far. He hooked that, but he has missed it. Yes, I thought for a moment he might have just got it through, but the flags went down. So 2 goes begging, but they will get it back.
He pulled that one badly, didn't he?
He did. He hooked it shockingly. New South Wales will present us with our 250th player, or their 250th player in this match tonight. I guess that'll be when Josh Reynolds comes on. Here's Fifita. And ran a long way to find the chasers coming down in defence. He plays it right in the middle of the ground in the Holden sign, the new naming rights sponsor of State of Origin. And the ball to be played 5 metres into Queensland's area. Farah goes to Luke Lewis down the blind side. And Lewis playing it back for Farah. Farah then to Pearce, and Pearce goes across and looks for an inside runner and finds Bird. Pearce and Maloney are the 15th 6 and 7 combination. As it goes short from Pearce to Lewis, and Lewis knocks on. He's chased it hard. He thinks that it's come off his knees, I think. The referee is ordering it back to the 20-metre line.
Gee whiz, he went so close to knocking this back in field too. This was nearly up with Blatchy's Blues up on the hill. Look at that. Wow.
Okay, well, Luke obviously thought that he didn't knock on. That was why he was marked urgent. And to come off the knees or anywhere other than the arms and the hands is not a knock-on. So that's the only thing I can think of, given the fact that he was travelling at high speed to recover it. Now it's with Cronk, and he'll play the ball 8 metres into New South Wales area. They're guarding the southern end in the first half, as Thurston gives it inside to Ashley Harrison. Harrison in the middle of the ground, and Smith comes out from dummy half and has given it to Parker. Corey is out there now. That's probably his second carry. And last tackle then for the Queensland Maroons as the kick goes off the boot of Cronk. It's very judicious, but Hayne goes up, and it's a penalty there to the Maroons.
Yeah, Billy Slater was knocked over in that play. Cronk had kicked purposely for his Melbourne Storm teammate, but there was no way that the Blues players were going to allow Slater to chase the ball. And he was taken out in back play. We've got a Blues player down injured. Let's have a look.
Hayne down.
And so there's the kick, and coming across, Robbie Farah. Farah is it that takes Slater out.
And Jared Hayne still getting attention and went down underneath the tackle of Sam Thaiday and Nate Miles. And one of his teammates telling him to stay down.
Wally, what do you do here? You're taking the tap or kicking for goal? 8-0 down.
Taking the tap, Gus. Gee, I think he's only touched the ball on a couple of occasions since coming on, but Corey Parker, I think he's injected a little bit of spark to the Queensland attack.
You don't want to ring a friend, Wal?
Nothing wrong in that tackle there from Thaiday and Miles. Here we go, Scott.
And he's met there by the leading shoulder of Watmoe. So Anthony is out there from Manly. And Cameron Smith to Cooper Cronk, and Cronk is sandwiched in the tackle of Lewis together with Maloney. Queensland pressing inside the 10, and it's come off Miles and gone to Fafita. And Andrew Fafita will play the ball 11 metres out from his own line.
I'm not sure it was meant for Nate Miles, but he went through the defence line untouched.
Brett Morris. Maloney going into dummy half for Brett Morris has played the ball. Now for Jennings. And he'll play the ball 33 metres out from his own line. Play back to Robbie Farah. Now for Anthony Watmoe. He's met by Matt Scott, Nate Miles in 11. They turn him around. Farah says that he was placed in a dangerous position. Watmoe, he might be getting encouraged to stay down.
Now he's just having a think about it. Will I get the video referee involved or not?
Here's Jennings. And they're on tackle 5 now. So play back for Farah to Pearce's boot. And it's a high kick down in the direction of Brent Tate. And he's hit immediately, but it's a penalty to Queensland. Somebody was inside the 10. I'm not quite sure who it might have been. It may have been the tackler, Ryan Hoffman.
That was close.
You don't have to be the tackler. You can't be inside the 10.
Well, he's not happy with the decision, that's for sure. Ryan Hoffman. Both the starting props for New South Wales been interchanged. So Paul Gallen out of the game fairly early on, and there's no doubt Ryan Hoffman was metres in front. And that's a
but
good
he
call.
waits. He waits. And he was avoiding the tackle in mid-air. We never had to worry about that because Tate didn't leave the ground. But he was offside, and that's all that matters. He was obviously in front of the kicker. And you can't be in front of the kicker and be onside unless the kicker puts you onside. And I'm going through some of this stuff because we're going, as I said, to distant places around the globe. Here's Slater playing the ball 35 metres out from the New South Wales line to Corey Parker. And he's flicked it out the back, and Hodges, his Brisbane teammate. Then it's gone from Smith, and they've immediately gone wide out to Ben Teo. And Teo is up to the 10-metre line. 27 minutes of the game gone, and Queensland attacking now. And Cronk puts a kick in. It came off the boot of Luke Lewis. He picks it up and runs out to the 30-metre line. Well, that was a stroke of good fortune for the Blues. Now for Ferguson.
Not a great decision from Cooper Cronk. I think it was the last tackle, and there's plenty of New South Wales jerseys there as Anthony Watmoe takes on 3 players, eventually put on his back on the halfway line.
Played to Farah. Now to Maloney, and he spears it out towards Jennings. They'd love to get Jennings into some space. He may well be the fastest man in rugby league. He plays the ball on the 40-metre line. Then Maloney, now Hoffman. And Hoffman will play it just outside the 30-metre line. As you can see, we're on the western side of the ground here at the Olympic Stadium as Maloney puts a kick up. It's going over towards Darius Boyd. He came to ground and he's knocked over by the defence of Blake Ferguson. Plays it 3 metres back into the field of play. There were only 3 Queenslanders back in an onside position, and Greg Inglis is put on the carriage and put on the ground. Plays it to Slater, and Slater comes running away. And offside has been called against New South Wales. So Queensland will come comfortably out of their red zone inside the 20.
That's where the Blues have got to be careful. Over-enthusiasm can bring you undone. It's 2 penalties in a row now for offside when it didn't need to be done. They had Queensland under the pressure. You can see Laurie Daly there annoyed because they had Queensland under the pump. They were going nowhere. And 2 offside penalties relieves the pressure for them.
Miles playing the ball on his own side of halfway before Harrison, before Cronk, and now for Parker. And Parker is shrouded by the New South Wales side. And Corey Parker, where it comes to Cronk on the right side, he then goes back off his right foot, tries to go through the middle behind the ruck, plays the ball, and here's Hodges coming from the blind side to the open side to link up with Thurston, and they kick out towards Darius Boyd. The bounce was favourable, but not the one that he wanted, and he'll play the ball 15 out from the line. Thurston joins in, shapes to go back on the inside for Slater, not to the ground. He passes backwards, picked up by Teo. Teo gets rid of Maloney. He's taken by another. And Queensland on that occasion losing ground with the ball. Here's Cronk now kicking across the ground towards Brent Tate's wing. He takes it, rakes it down for Hodges. Hodges gets a kick in, and the ball is out. As was Justin Hodges, I think.
Well, Lewis, the Queensland kicking game. Obviously, they were unlucky there with the kick across for Darius Boyd, but again, Cooper Cronk not waiting for the last tackle there.
No, they're not, Sterlo, and we've also got to remember that it's not Jonathan Thurston that's kicking. Obviously, the adductor muscle trouble that he's had is creating some dramas for Queensland's kicking game.
Watmo. And away it goes to Pearce, and there's a knock-on out there.
Bad ball from...
And Lewis was given an awful pass. He knocks on, so Queensland will go back onto the attack deep in New South Wales territory.
Now that's a 3rd mistake in a row by the Blues. And you can't keep doing this because you just invite Queensland back into the game. The Blues are way on top. But this little turn of possession, this Queensland side, they don't need too much of an invitation.
Gus, they've had some very skillful handling at the other end of the football field, but they don't need to try and display it deep inside their own territory. They've got to play safe there and work for field position.
Here's Queensland now with their star fullback coming in, then to Hodges, and here's Tate. And looking for the ground as quickly as he could so as to stay in the field of play. Slater across Thaiday, out to Hodges. And Justin playing the ball just inside the 10-metre line. So they go to the middle, they go to Cronk, and Cronk has got runners to choose from, and Thurston goes away to Darius Boyd, and Boyd into touch in the field of play.
That's brilliant. Great scrambling cover defence by the Blues. Lovely play by Queensland, who created an overlap there very comfortably with some decoy runners. But Darius Boyd just had to wait for the long pass and couldn't actually hit it on the fly. And that gave the cover defence here. Look, he waited for it. And here they come. Zooming across, and they're able to get there just in time. Had he been able to hit that ball on the fly, maybe he'd have got there, but great defence by the Blues.
And a lot of players in motion, the Queensland side. Blake Ferguson came in to try and cope with one of the decoys, and it was Josh Morris who enveloped the ball runner in the end. And was roundly applauded by his teammates.
Hey, come on.
So 32 and a half minutes into the game, Origin 1 for 2013. And it's an 8-0 lead for New South Wales. Just the one try, Jared Hayne after 5 minutes. Greg Bird. The Blues now up the middle with Hoffman.
He's added a bit of vigour since coming out. Ben Teo for Queensland. Looks strong off the bench as Pepito now shoulder chat or gets rid of a couple with his shoulder before offloading to Farah.
Lewis a dummy half, and Watmough is there ready for a carry from a standing start. So Watmough playing the ball 9 metres short of halfway, and Farah kicks with his left foot and rakes it back and behind Darius Boyd. He's got Slater with him, but he's also got the New South Wales defence with him, and they're down on the 20-metre line, their own end of the ground.
Trent Merrin making that tackle into the game, and a nice cameo from Andrew Fafita in his first Origin. He's come to the sideline now with Paul Gallen, the skipper, back out.
Teo. Fafita back on the bench after an auspicious entry. Now for Miles, he lays it out the back, and Harrison dives on the ball, volunteered the tackle, and Pearce dived on him. Now for Hodges, and Hodges, it's come out the back and it's gone to Cronk, and then it's gone away to Slater, and Slater is taken by Merrin and Gallen.
They just look slow and disorganised at the moment, Queensland, don't they? There's no rhythm to their game at all. And now a kick that Haynes should take comfortably. They just really haven't snapped into any sort of rhythm at all in their own.
Haynes to play the ball inside the 20-metre line. It gave me the impression he couldn't get across quick enough towards this fellow, Blake Ferguson. The 4 players on debut have come through so far with flying colours. Queensland have got one waiting for his opportunity, Chris McQueen. Now Luke Lewis, and he's taken down right in the centre of the ground, met by Corey Parker and Sam Thaiday from the Broncos. Now Watmough shaping to pass and then holding it, and Teo takes him to ground. Farah to Maloney. Maloney's kick charged down by Miles. Then it's come off the Maroons. This will be play on, and they'll restart the tackle count again. And Merrin it is. He gets rid of one. He got rid of Cameron Smith rather embarrassingly, and Cameron picks himself up and makes the tackle with Thaiday. Farah then on to Pearce, on to Lewis, and Lewis goes inside the 30-metre line. Half-time then, 5 minutes away, and Gallen tries to work up the middle, gets it to the 20-metre line. Farah waiting for his call from Pearce or Maloney. It's come to Maloney. He goes to the line and then goes short to Watmough. So Anthony playing it back to Robbie Farah. Plenty of numbers on the left side, but they're gone right to Merrin. And Merrin can unload a ball, and he had it tucked there under the wing, hoping some support would arrive before this defence. Played to Farah. Farah puts a little kick in. It came off, I think, a Maroon, picked up by Jennings. The tackle count restarts. Jennings stepping. Jennings is close. Jennings is very, very close. He may have scored. Michael Jennings has scored, I think, for New South Wales.
Clarkie, we have a try. Just want to go and check the kick to make sure there's no knock-on in amongst that, mate.
Well, a kick from New South Wales straight into the Queensland defender. It bounced back, and Michael Jennings, who looks as quicksilver as he ever has in his career at the moment, picked it up. And again, as Jared Hayne had to do, he had work close to the line, but he was able to wriggle through defenders to slam it down. Robbie Farah, there's no problem there. It went off Sam Thaiday into Nate Miles. If it hits a New South Wales player, it goes backwards anyway. That will be a try, because that was the only call of concern by the on-field referee. Great footwork there. He beats 3 and gets the ball down for the second try.
Well, he actually beats 5 if you count the first 2 that went up to him. He sidestepped them. He goes through the next 3. Jennings has beaten 5 of them to score. Adjacent to the uprights. The Blues crowd, they wait and they get it. They get the result they want. No matter where you're watching State of Origin 1, I hope you're enjoying it. Some friends of mine on a cruise up near Mumbai at the moment. And Richard and Judith, I hope you and your friends are watching the Origin as you told me you would be, and enjoying. So back at ANZ Stadium and New South Wales through Michael Jennings, a brilliant piece of footwork, and it should be a converted try to them to take them to a 14-0 lead coming to the break.
It's just where you want your speed players, particularly the ones with good footwork, sharp footwork, to be getting the ball late in each half around the middle of the field. Maloney will convert this, but when we look on the replay and see how Jennings scoops the ball up and now gets himself one-on-one with tired defenders in the middle of the field, he's just too quick and strong for them. The footwork was sharp, he was energetic. Players that have been in there tackling all night are just no match for him. Left foot, stop, right foot, swivel. Speed is power, power, power. Reach out and slam it down on the Harvey Norman replay.
So Queensland now looking at 14-0 down and 2 minutes of the first half to go. And Paul Gallen will play the ball on his own 20-metre line. (14-0). Missed tackles 13 for Queensland and 4 for New South Wales. Some of the Maroons are really looking tired. They've been on the end of a lot of defence, and it's draining them. Watmo, I think they'll be quite happy to get to the break. And when Paul Gallen, who's with the ball now, and Laurie Daly get to the team at half-time, I think the major thing will be, OK, we've got 14-0. Let's not get too cocky. But then let's close up shop either. I would think that would be the brief message, would it not, Coach?
Oh, absolutely. Just keep doing what you're doing, play by play. I mean, the scoreboard means nothing. Nothing. I mean, they're not even halfway through the first game of a 3-game series. It's not time to be looking at the scoreboard, but they are way on top, physically, emotionally, and the Queenslanders look slow. They don't look as though they're on their game at all.
Miles, what are you thinking, Wall, coming up to the break with about 30 seconds to go?
Well, New South Wales are way in front in the speed off their defensive line department. They're racing up.
Oh, there's a big punch up in centre of ground. Nate Miles with a left and a right from Gallen, and they both landed flush. There was a little push and shove, and then Gallen has landed left, right on the face of Nate Miles.
Yes, absolutely.
It was something that happened in the tackle.
Yep.
And then they confronted. There was a bit of push and shove.
Oh.
Gallen goes in with a swinging arm. That's where your start is. That's the trigger. And Nate will get up, and there's now a little push and shove. Here it is. And then watch this. Bang, bang. Left, right. So this will be interesting, to say the very least. Bang, bang again. Left, right from Gallen. Miles, Nate not expecting that. He wasn't expecting the arm that went in either, I suppose, which I said was the trigger.
You move back. Move back. Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
he might be in trouble here, Paul Gallen.
Right, Paul, just over here, mate. Okay, first we've got a swinging arm by yourself. That's going to go on report and we're going to put it against you. You stay here. Paul!
He's not finished yet, Paul. Come back.
What happened next, we're not going to tolerate, okay? Yeah. That's done now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I say something? And he's getting my knee and twisting every time I get tackled.
Okay, well,
every time.
We'll keep an eye on that, but you can't then take it in your own hands.
He's been doing it for series after series, headbutting, headbutting, twisting.
That's fine, but let us deal with that, okay? Nate! You got him?
Paul Gallen dug into the history books of Nate Miles there.
Well, there's obviously a bit of history between the two, because he's going back to a few games previous. Joey, sideline.
Yeah, the Blues players been complaining about Nate Miles looting with the head. So I think it's the skipper there protecting his players.
Well, I use the word trigger. That may have really spiked Queensland as as Thurston puts a kick in. Boyd is after it. Hayne has got it. He closes the shop. And they will go out towards the 20-metre line. But that will be half-time. First time since game 1 in 2006 that Queensland held to 0 in the first half. Darren Lockyer with Cameron Smith.
Yeah, Cameron, mate, tough first half, mate. What's the boys got to do in the second half to get back into this?
Oh, mate, I think we just got to slow the play the ball down a bit. They've had a fair run on and just control the ball. We've had some good opportunities down their end, but we just coughed up early possession, mate.
Thanks for your time. Good luck.
Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Cameron. Coming up in Holden, half-time. Cameron Williams joined by Peter Sterling, Paul Vorton, Gordon Tallis to take us through the first half. Darren Lockyer, Andrew Johns with their expert insights. That's next as Wide World of Sports brings you Holden State of Origin, Game 1, live on the 9, Win and NBN networks right across Australia. Well, we come back to ANZ Stadium for the second half. And did the actions of the New South Wales captain maybe put a spark under the furnace? We are just waiting now with bated breath as Cameron Smith takes Queensland out. Might have been better to leave the sleeping giant asleep, but Gallen has really exploded with Miles, and Nate was standing there totally unguarded. He didn't expect it to come like it did. So Gallen, the New South Wales captain, is on report with a swinging arm in the tackle. And there's Nate Miles. Here comes the other combatant, Paul Gallen. They'll probably get a big roar when they come out for the second half. Stay with this. Trent Merrin in 15 follows James Maloney out. First time since game 1 in 2006 that Queensland have been held to 0. The end of that game was interesting. The score, very, very familiar, isn't it, to see Queensland dig out. They didn't quite this night. In 2006, they went down 17-16 after trailing by a big margin at half-time, and Brett Finch kicked a field goal, not in Golden Point. But their record of coming from behind, Queensland, we are all very much aware of. So the Blues running from left to right. The second half of State of Origin 1 for 2013 is underway. And you might expect that Nate Miles carries the ball back and plays it to Cameron Smith, and then it goes over to Ashley Harrison. He plays the ball on the 20-metre line. Corey Parker with a run, and he bounced away from a tackle that misfired for Anthony Watmough. So we resume at 14-0, and Cameron Smith out from dummy half and taking Thaiday with him. Parker's not well in back play. 2 tries then in the first half for the Blues. You've seen them repeatedly. Hayne and Jennings, the try scorers. And Cronk kicks down to Ferguson, and he comes down again. The rookie. They've bombed him, and they've bombed him several times. Blake Ferguson, who's the youngest on ground, has been very, very strong under the aerial attack. Now for Trent Merrin from the Dragons. He is handled to the ground by Thaiday in particular. Now Watmough, and Harrison combines with Parker, who play the ball near the halfway. This is the 4th tackle we're going into, and Hayne comes in from the back. Farrell runs from dummy half and kicks, and the bounce is there for Brett Tate. Cowboy comes back outside his own 10-metre line. Slater running it. No option, really. Queensland's forward getting back onside now. Harrison.
They look very bunched though, Ray, don't they, behind the line there. They're starting to spread out now, but we've already got the tackle through. And very accomplished set of 6 there by the Blues. It just becomes a matter of time and patience now for them, if they can keep that ball control up.
Smith kicking deep, and Hayne, he went back very quickly to give himself enough time to come back as he has to the 20-metre line. That was a tremendous recovery.
Yeah, that's great by Jared Hayne, and that's the energy that he now when he shows that, he inspires his teammates. We don't see enough of it, but he's been right on his game tonight, and it's made a huge difference to the mentality of the Blues.
That's Brett Morris under the tackle. Bentillo on top of him. Now Gallen. And I'm going right in there with you as close as I can to keep an eye on the tackle on Gallen. Looking for some kind of retaliation. Watmo out to Pearce, on to Lewis. Lewis out to Ferguson. And Ferguson has to go away from the sideline. He'll play the ball on the 30-metre line. Pearce, and he kicks high and across towards Hodges, and it's taken by Tate.
Yes, uncontested there. Brent Tate did well, took it on the chest. And New South Wales making a little bit of a burst down this right-hand side, again coming off a Trent Merrin offload. Went to ground, but they were able to capitalise on it as Nate Miles is put on his back. 25 out from his own line, centre field.
Play by Miles. Here's Harrison, his fellow Gold Coast teammate. And here's Hodges. And he's taken there and put down by Watmo in particular.
Got a couple struggling out there, Ray. Queensland as Cooper Cronk kicks inside his own 40. Corey Parker's just getting better, and Ashley Harrison is struggling and just received some service from the trainer there.
So here's Jared Hayne with the ball. Miles is off. And Mitchell Pearce might be overing an ankle just a little. Farah to Gallen, and Gallen goes up the middle. 10 metres there. Fairly comfortable. Tackled on halfway. Now for Maloney, who looked to give it back on the inside to Hayne. Farah now. 4th tackle for the Blues, and Farah chips it down into the corner. Slater beaten by the bounce, and he's beaten by the defence.
Well, Coach Laurie Daly couldn't be happier, I'd imagine, with the start to the second half of the Blues. They've come out here to grind Queensland into the ground, and those three opening sets of 6 of the second half are inch perfect, resulting in a wonderful kick from Farah, great chase, and they force the line dropout. That's brilliant stuff from New South Wales. That's coming out of the blocks. Look at the celebration there. That's exactly what the coach wanted.
A line dropout time off the number 9, taken by a camera running along the dead ball line. Spider Cam in operation tonight as well. As Paul Gallen plays the ball in the middle of the ground on the 30-metre line. New South Wales 14-0 at half-time. And Merrin is with the ball. Chris McQueen has gone on. Wonderful talent from South Sydney, and Ashley Harrison is off. And here is Farah, and then Gallen knocks on.
Well, that was the only blemish in the first half. New South Wales handing over the ball too easily. Unforced errors. And another one there just when something was building. And Chris McQueen's the timeout out there. He's junior club at Kingaroy Red Ants. It's the same junior club as Matt Ballon, who played Queensland Origin in 2010. That's McQueen's first touch.
So the township of Kingaroy, about 7,000 I think it is, got their second Origin jumper. Running around out there on the back of Chris McQueen. Play by Corey Parker. And they've gone on to Cronk and gone on to Thurston. The ball goes to ground, backwards off Thurston. And 6 more tackles has been called. Thurston
He's in trouble.
slowly up, and Wally talked earlier. He doesn't think that he's right. Just keep an eye on him, Wall, if you can, and let's see if we can make another assessment on the number 6 for Queensland through your eyes. Smith to Cronk, and Cronk behind Teo to Slater to Hodges. Hodges is pulled down. He's 15 away, as you can see. Cronk, Friday strong, running it straight at Robbie Farah. Farah equal to the head-on task. Now Cronk, now Thurston, long out to Boyd. Boyd back to Thurston. Thurston busy in the middle of the ground. Now Cameron Smith looks to get away. He's on his way, and Cameron Smith is over the line. Was there a second movement?
Parky, tackle 5.
Well, it won't look good in slow motion.
Check.
I don't think it'll look good in slow motion. At normal speed, you can see why he's taken the risk, because he was moving. There was momentum in the tackle. But I've just got the feeling this ball carrying the arm is going to hit the turf short of the line there, and he can't promote it to there.
And the call from the on-field referee was no try, so he needed it to look very good.
As bad as Queenslanders wanted it, they're not going to get it. But there was some inspiration in the move a little bit early with Jonathan Thurston. We heard you talking about it, Gus, as it comes up no try. Disappointment for Queensland of just how he keeps fighting on. Despite having some horror injuries, he keeps going, JT.
And of course, on the back of that, a penalty from New South Wales for that double movement infringement. He got through pretty easily there, Cameron Smith. First real crack we've seen like that defensively from New South Wales. So again, it's a wake-up call.
It's unlike him, though. It's a little show of desperation there that he would even reach out and put that ball down. And I guess the scoreboard and the pressure has made him do that. Cameron Smith rarely makes those sort of mistakes, even under pressure.
David Middleton just reminding me that Dave Brown also came from Kingaroy, so Dave, of course, would have been their first Origin competitor. So now 3. Maloney on to Jennings. Jennings is put away by Brent Tate over there on the halfway line.
And that was touched, so it's back to 0 tackle. This is the first now.
Hoffman. Teo in 16, Scott in 8, peeling off with Smith in 9. And Farah to Pearce, and Pearce goes short to Lewis. Lewis breaks through and is wrestled down eventually by Corey Parker on the 20-metre line. Farah to Pearce. Pearce gave that lovely ball to Lewis, and he'll play the ball 12 metres out from the Queensland line, held by Matt Scott. Farah, now Maloney. Watmo loses the ball. It came off him and touched. Now it's a penalty. They're inside the 10.
Cut. We're on the line. We're playing the ball 2 metres outside that line.
That's it.
I could do maths. That's not 10.
And you were there, but Cameron Smith went way too early. That's what the penalty was for.
Robbie.
Back here.
Mitchell.
So the penalty goes to the Blues.
Here you go, mate.
Just organising which play they're going to go for.
Yeah, they're going for the jugular here, and the crowd has erupted. They're baying for blood.
Gallen taken by Friday and Cronk. Play is over on the eastern side, and Farah goes from dummy half. Was arcing over the line, but they forced him back. Farah plays it to Jennings. Jennings back to Trent Merrin, and Merrin takes the second tackle to ground. 8 metres from the line, slow play the ball. Gallen run around, Farah, decoy, Pearce, in ball, Lewis, and Lewis is within 2 metres again. And he lost the ball. He lost the ball. right in the goal mouth.
Well, it's great defence from Queensland. And their backs against the wall. Jonathan Thurston barking instructions and encouragement for his teammates. Shillington coming to the sideline. So too Matt Gillett. He hasn't been into the game as yet. And Lewis coming back on the inside as he loves to do. Attracting plenty of defenders. And eventually the ball comes out.
Ruling a loose carry, and Darius Boyd comes in from the wing to take the role of a 5'8". Now Ben Teo taking it some 25 metres out from the Queensland line. No change to the halftime score. With 12 minutes gone, second half. Justin Hodges. Now Corey Parker. Still playing superb football, Corey Parker. But it does remind me that this is the oldest side that's ever played Origin, a combined age. The oldest team that's ever played Origin is out there tonight for Queensland.
Chris, release him now!
20 metres out from the Blues line, they take their first. Now they're second with Ferguson. And Corey Parker now gets a rest. And they're out to the 40-metre line with Robbie Farah poking his nose through. Back to Pearce, on to Lewis, and Lewis is really out there looking for work. He's made some incisive runs. And Pearce has given him great service. Now Gallen with a hand in the face of Teo, and he is able to trundle this ball down the ground. They slow it down as long as they can. Now Maloney, a grubber kick, and Slater will watch it. We'll take a break. State of Origin 1, back in a moment. So our telecast reaching all points of the globe, and wherever you're watching, I trust you're enjoying one of the most watched television events of the land down under. We come in on the back of the scrum and the back of Spider-Cam to Holden State of Origin 1 with New South Wales leading 14-0. And at the moment, New South Wales still very much on top as Chris McQueen had his first carry. That's Cameron Smith playing tonight. I think his 28th Origin match. Justin Hodges. Hodges goes across long, out to Tate. Tate has got the attention of Jennings and Maloney and Morris. Talking of Cameron, he could easily go on and play 40 Origin games. 36 is the top for Darren Lockyer. This ball will go dead for Jared Hayne, I think. Yes, only just. And Hayne is sprinting back to the 20-metre line.
Well, that is an area where New South Wales have been far superior to Queensland in the kicking department, and that was from very early in the game. You can imagine it's long before Andrew Fafita comes out for his second bout. He might cause some problems. A little bit of fatigue in the centre of the ruck for Queensland, and Fafita with his footwork, as this man is doing.
Oh, look, he's been a tower of strength. Luke Lewis. There's absolutely no way of looking at it other than to centre in on this performance of Luke Lewis tonight. There's been some wonderful efforts, but he has made some tremendous metres. The former Panther, now shot. Maloney to Hoffman, and the ball comes off Jennings. And it's advantage Queensland. Play by Brent Tate. Over to Matt Scott. But it's a staggered, hesitant reply from Queensland.
Yeah, I'm just looking there. Normally, in past years, when a ball hits the ground or there's a turnover, Queensland are back and ready to go and stringing passes together to get the ball to Slater or Inglis. Tonight, nothing. Nana, zip. They're just not in getting in position. I'm looking along the line saying, well, who's going to get them out of this? And there is no evidence to suggest that they're going to do it tonight. I'm not saying they won't, but not at the moment.
This is Gillett, and the ball flung out the back, and it's with Shillington. And David from the Canberra club plays the ball on the halfway line. And here's Cooper going back, and he's run into James Tarmo, beat him. Watmo is there. Now, was that a kick? I guess it was. It's been batted back by Slater, and Tarmo makes the tackle, but the tackle count is back to 0. Gillett. I've only been told in the last couple of weeks that that's the way Matt wants it pronounced. Smith to Matt Scott, and around the legs is Lewis, and over the top Farah. They're 20 away now, the Maroons. Here's Cronk, tries to do it himself. Slater is appealing for a penalty, taken out off the ball. Here is Slater now, and comes back with big Shillington, and he's so close. In fact, he's over the line on his back. So it's the 4th tackle.
This will be the 5th tackle.
That's the expiry of 4. They'll go back and play the 5th from the 10-metre line.
Yeah, they had the ball well wrapped up there, so the New South Wales players just eased him back into the in goal. Get a little bit of a breather before they take on these next couple of tackles.
Cronk. Thurston tries to put the kick in, and the Blues are on it. Hoffman's got it.
Well, that's a disappointing end to a bit of a roll. The Queenslanders, that's probably been their best attack that they've had for the entire game. They were starting to get some pattern in their play. A disappointing finish to it. Now they've got to come up with good defence.
Wally, how do they get Greg Inglis into this game?
Well, he's almost got to come in one play a little bit closer. As a penalty goes to New South Wales, which will create even more pressure upon them. Inglis on screen. He's probably the man that's been in sensational club form this year. He just hasn't touched the ball too often. I think they've got to try and make sure that they open up some time and space. The easiest way to do that would be to roll their attack around to the right-hand side to ensure that there's an opportunity on the left. That doesn't guarantee he will get through the New South Wales defence, though.
There was some talk that maybe he would swap positions with Slater in running wall. In other words, Greg would go back to full back for a period. And maybe they've reached that point in the game where desperate measures are required in a desperate situation. Played by Tarmo, Maloney, Bird, and Bird will play the ball after straining and struggling to gain every centimetre of grass. Here's Farah back to Pearce. Here's Lewis again, running the straight line off his number 7. Lies obviously on his playmaker. And here's Watmo. 15 away from the Queensland line. Farah, no look, back to the middle. And Pearce is with it, but it's travelled forward. And it'll be a scrum, loose head Queensland.
Just didn't need that one right there. They were absolutely trampling over the top of the Queenslanders there. They were making ground at will.
Here we are, guys.
They've aimed Luke Lewis at Jonathan Thurston all night, and they're really testing out the Queensland playmaker, getting his tackle count up. How many tackles has Thurston made? He's made 12 on the edge, and I reckon most of them have been Luke Lewis just charging at him.
So we're coming up to three-quarter time. An hour gone in the new series. And the scrum coming away with Gillett for Queensland. In fact, it's Boyd. And here's McQueen. He's got plenty of tricks in his kit bag, Chris McQueen. Whether he'll get a chance to show them tonight is another matter. Now Scott. Hodges will run. Hodges out of 1. Hodges out of 2. Hodges out of 3. Here's Brent Tate on the end of the line.
How
playing
good was
inside
that?
the 30-metre line. Here's Cronk. Out to Thurston. The quick spread is on. Out to Greg Inglis. The famous fend. Now to Boyd, and Boyd scores for Queensland. Again, Darius Boyd scores his 10th Origin try.
And we go back to a piece of fancy play at the other end of the field that New South Wales didn't need to call upon, and they have been punished. Great work from Justin Hodges, Billy Slater on the far side, and then Jonathan Thurston summed it up. Gave it to Greg Inglis, one-on-one with Morris. He attracted the winger in, and Darius Boyd crosses wide out.
Cameron Smith is going to take the kick.
You know, as that ball come across the field, Jonathan Thurston thought about kicking that. He really thought about putting his foot to the ball. And then he looked at Inglis and said, you know what, we haven't seen anything of you tonight. Here, take this and see what you can do. And he didn't let him down one bit while you were talking about just getting it wide to the right so they could open up a little bit. I thought Thurston was going to kick it, but he got him the ball eventually.
Yeah, it looked like he was going to kick it. I'd almost have bet my house that he was about to kick it, but perhaps he knew where the Queensland strength lay.
Which one of the six you've owned? Well, houses.
Thurston giving the kicking job to Cameron, or this may have been well the case. And Smith from the sideline, yes, has converted. 14-6, Darren Lockyer now.
Yeah, as we see on the Harvey Norman replay, this is what I think the Queenslanders need to do. They need to get a dummy half, use their footwork as Justin Hodges does here. He's so dynamite out of there. A great offload by Billy Slater to Brent Tate. And from here, they sum it up perfectly. Cronk goes straight to Thurston because he knows that's where the space is. And Greg Inglis does exceptionally well to get Boyd in the corner.
Scott taken by Lewis and Ferguson.
You've got a huge 10-minute period coming up here. Next try scorer is so vital in this game for both sides. Queensland haven't been in it. They are now.
So 14-6. Played then by Gillett, and it's gone on to Friday. And there'll be a fresh spring in the step now. And here's Hodges. And that's how they ignited that last try, with something simple like a dummy half run, which is the trademark of Justin Hodges. And Ferguson takes it on the feet, and that gave McQueen time to come down and claim him.
Well, that set of six there was their best set of six coming out of trouble all night. Queensland have turned up. They've finally got off the bus. They're here. They've arrived.
Brett Morris back on his 20. Now, correction, it was Josh, and this is Brett.
You're forgiven.
Thank you. Farah turning it up for Bird. And Greg held there by Chris McQueen. Here is Jared Hayne running at Gillette. Puts a hand up in the face of Friday. Near the halfway line. And Pearce kicks straight down to the winger. Boyd got his 10th try 2 minutes ago. 10th try at Origin. It's a prolific finisher. And here is Greg Inglis, who played his part to perfection. Now Brent Tate inside the 30-metre line in front of just over 80,000 people tonight. The official crowd figure has gone up at just a tick over 80,000. Cronk goes outside inside and finds Inglis. Held by Tamo and Fafita. Fourth tackle. Hodges again. Now they came in on him, and Tate has got himself one-on-one with Brett Morris over there, and Jennings coming in to assist. Cronk, Thurston kicking, and kicking out towards a flying Darius Boyd. But Ferguson again strong. Safe, I think, is a better word.
And now the New South Wales players are slow to get back on side after the kick. Queensland with a real surge of momentum here.
I mean, that last set of six for Queensland, we saw Greg Inglis in behind the play the ball as Andrew Fifita is driven backwards, where he's been so dangerous for South Sydney this season and last. Just worked in behind to play the ball.
So the Blues coming out for the kick by Maloney, but has gone straight to Slater. And this is the last thing you want to do if you're playing against Billy Slater, is to kick it straight to him, particularly in the centre of the ground. And here's a penalty. There's a penalty against Fifita.
Well, somewhere in his notes, he will remember reading that if you happen to get hold of Billy Slater, make sure you put him down. So he put him down not once, but twice, and maybe even 3 times. What's this? Bang. Picking back up. Bang again. And there's the penalty.
And the Queensland teammates come in to react and take a look at the size of their opponent. Decide, well, we better play safe here. Just take the penalty.
Scott.
Oh, look out, Rabbits. Look out.
You feel like we've been here before.
Here they come.
Here's Thurston. Operating inside 30. That's McQueen beating Ferguson. Taken by Lewis and by Fifita. But they're in the 20-metre zone. It's out with Smith. Inside Gillette. Or should I say Gillett?
Inglis again moving in closer to play the ball.
Now for Thurston. Back second man play. Greg Inglis trying to get rid of Gallen and Lewis. Gallen trying to chop Inglis off. It was Morris, in fact, not Gallen. It's gone from Smith and gone to Thurston. 8 metres out from the Blues line. 5 tackles gone for the Maroons. Trying to claw their way back. Cronk's kick down towards Jennings. He lost the ball. It's gone to ground. It's picked up there by Morris. And a knock-on will be ordered against New South Wales.
Well, Michael Jennings, as this ball came to him, would have had visions of a couple of weeks ago where Cronk put one to him in the in goal. And he dropped it for a Melbourne Storm trial, and Cronk's gone back there again and got a good result. The Maroons here are surging. Jennings goes up, doesn't get a grab on it, knocks it on. And this will give a perfect opportunity for the Queensland team to get on the springboard.
They were trying to get Paul Gallen on, but with it being a scrum, unable to do so.
Queensland are telegraphing that they're going to shift the ball to the left-hand side here. Inglis is in position, but keep your eye on the blind side. They've got a 2-on-1 advantage there with Hodges, who at the moment is brushing off the first defender every time he carries the ball.
So here we go. Queensland, blindside play on play number 1. Hodges. Tate a dummy half, Smith at first, and then Gillett out at second. He takes the tackle and will play it for Cameron Smith. They keep coming open side towards Inglis. It's out to McQueen. 10 metres out. Third tackle down for Queensland. Here's Thurston, now for Miles. And this time it's Fifita chewing up some time with Bird. Thurston sweeping around the back. Oh, good tackle. Greg Bird.
Yeah, read him beautifully.
Now the last for Queensland. And it's Cronk. And again he goes over towards Morris on the wing. And he's come down with it. So it'll be a 20-metre restart. He'll sprint out, Morris. Officials are in position. Morris out to the 30-metre line. The Blues hit back. The crowd doesn't like it. They feel, oh, look at this one. Greg Inglis on Fifita.
Get that
coming in and blindsiding him. Big hit by Inglis. Now for Bird.
Oh, isn't it wonderful?
Here's Lewis on the blind side. Getting it to Josh Morris.
They lost it.
Queensland with the advantage of it, with Boyd.
They've lost their way the last 5 or 10 minutes with this Queensland surge. The New South Wales side.
McQueen just on his own side of halfway. Scott running back at Farah and Fifita. Smith. Dummy to Miles, went behind Gillett, gave it to Cronk, went on to Slater, gone on to Hodges. And Hodges will play the ball for the 4X Maroon. Cronk in ball for Gillett. And he's taken down 30 metres out, centre of the ground. Playing it to his captain. And he goes behind Nate Miles to Thurston. Thurston chips into the corner. Hayne is there. Hayne is there. Hayne with a good run. He's out of the tackle. Tries to have another go. And he gets a penalty.
Yeah,
he's
good
trying
energy.
to play the ball.
Good energy there from Jared Hayne. Firstly, to cover the kick, he read it from Thurston. Then a couple of good surges and some footwork to get himself into a quick play the ball situation. And then he milked the penalty nicely. Look at that. Slippery ground, but up and going and surging. And here he is again, go again. Now he'll flip over and try to get his quick play the ball and force the error. And that's a good little period of defence there for the Blues, because Queensland were coming to get them. Not over yet. Plenty of time.
Greg Inglis was the man penalised for allegedly pulling him back to the ground. I think Gus might have got the right word, though. It was a case of milking, brilliantly done by Hayne. Now for Feeder. Centre ground, plays the ball, has a little bit of a set to with Thaiday. Farah. Thaiday's got the head bandaged quite heavily. Players on the halfway line. It is 14-6 with 8 minutes of this match remaining at the Olympic Stadium, ANZ Stadium in Sydney. Pearce outside inside for Hayne, and Hayne is taken to the ground by McQueen and Thurston just outside the 30-metre line. Here it is with Pearce, and Pearce is put down. The ball bounces, and it comes down to Slater, and he's taken.
Mitchell Pearce got some contact there from Cameron Smith, and he kept his Thaiday with the head bandaged. Pushes through players. Everything's all right. Brent Tate out of dummy half now. Good metres.
Feeder and Watmo making the tackle on Brent. Here's Nate Miles. Tackled by Gallen and Maloney and Farah. Here's Hodges. Really put himself into the game, Justin, with simple plays. Now the pass has gone over the sideline, but the player had left the field of play to rake it back, and the touch judge said that's okay, play on. It's with Harrison now.
How did Hodges get that ball back in field? He was the one that threw the loose pass. He's out. He was out.
He had a foot on the line. In fairness to the touchy, he didn't have vision of it. Gave the benefit of the doubt very much to Justin Hodges. Here's Hayne.
This is the gut-wrenching part of Origin games. This last 10 minutes seems to go forever for the players. They're all burning out there. This would be killing them, but they all keep aiming up.
Brett Morris will be killing the coach at the moment. Laurie Daly, his maiden voyage at this level for Feeder, keeping limbered. First New South Wales coach not to have coached at club level, and it'll be a very proud little town in the Riverina of Junee tonight that Laurie's in charge of the Blues. And here is Slater taking it in mid-air and bringing it out 28 metres out from his own line. 14-6, 6 minutes of time remaining. The water is getting deeper for Queensland.
Yeah, they've hung in for a long time now. In fact, they lead the second half 6-0. Time rapidly running out for them. Friday centre field. Early in the count, or halfway through.
Smith taking Harrison with him, but it's New South Wales. They didn't gain any advantage.
Yeah.
So this will be a loose head and feed to the Blues. Andrew in the box.
Yeah, Loz, what do you want from the last 5 minutes?
Just want to be composed, Joey. We're going to get a good kicking game. We're going to play them out of their own red zone.
Thanks for your time.
Thanks, mate.
Spider cam then.
Yeah, Cameron Smith here double pumped out of dummy half. He was trying to draw the markers, and I just think Harrison didn't see the ball coming on the second pass, and That caused the error. 5:17 to go. A lot can still happen. We've seen amazing things in the last 5 minutes of Origins throughout history. The home team in front.
That's great stuff from Laurie Daly, isn't it? 5 to go, his first Origin game, and he's prepared to give his view.
Well, there's no doubt in my mind this youngster with the ball is in the side very much through the persuasion and the power of Laurie Daly. He's got a soft spot for Canberra, obviously, but he's got a very soft spot for Blake Ferguson. And he, of course, was in contention with Nathan Merritt for this job, and Daly had pretty much no hesitation, swinging to Blake, who was taken from his mother to live with his grandparents when he was 13. He was relocated up at Wellington with his pop and his nan. Here's the kick back from Maloney. Slater's got a little bit of work to do. Oh, Jennings was flying.
Mate, we're just checking this here, please.
Yeah, it's a
we
big
have no
call.
try. I don't know try.
Shane
Checking this here,
Hayne,
mate.
he knows it's a big call. He wants to see whether or not Slater has put this dead or whether or not Jennings has got a hand on it. It was a deliberate kick back in field. It wrong-footed Slater. He could feel Jennings coming after it. There's Jennings on the inside, not normally outside him. Great camera work there. You can see Slater is wrong-footed. Jennings coming. Slater goes to it. I think Jennings has got the last touch on that.
That's a really clever kick with James Maloney over that side, deliberately on the outside of the foot to get it back in field. Well, all the players know what it is, a 20-metre restart, they're ready to go.
I think Billy Slater basically knew that he had to come up with a play like that because giving ball back to New South Wales was just going to make it even tougher for them to be able to score. The clock is ticking.
I think he might have just feathered it across the dead ball line with that little finger in his right hand. But
touches Michael. Just out blast off Michael.
Yeah, Jennings touches it last. Let's go.
It's a knockback off Billy Slater and a knock on by Jennings. 4:25 to go.
Interesting to see just from the restart as well. New South Wales had 2 players back standing in deep positions, getting ready for Cameron Smith to try and kick away from the 20-metre line to get a restart.
Corey Parker getting it back for Nate Miles. And Miles into the middle for Billy Slater. Slater's gone down to the 30-metre line. Haynes after him. Haynes got him. One-on-one. Slater will play the ball. Queensland then with a last-minute dive at this line. Here's Thaiday losing the ball. Picked up by the Blues. 20 metres out from their line.
Who was that tackle? Was that Greg Bird?
Greg Bird.
Greg Bird one-on-one with Sam Thaiday. Stood his ground, belted him, and got the ball off him. That's a big play right there.
Play by Gallen. Now Merrin. Queensland playing with renewed vigour in this second half, but still Laurie Daly's Blues on Daly's maiden voyage are clinging on. 14-6 with 3 minutes to go, but this is only the tip of the iceberg. 3 State of Origin matches.
It's the first instalment, isn't it, Ray?
That's it. Watch this space. Kick down the ground then by one of the halves, and Slater goes to take.
Oh, what a shot. What a shot over the top there. Who was that? Bird again.
Bird again.
Well, Queensland need to try in this set of 6. Otherwise, New South Wales coach Laurie Daly opens his Origin coaching career with a tremendous victory. Let's hold on.
Nate Miles, 10 metres on his own side of halfway. He took a pummeling just before half-time. Now it's to Thurston. Got the kick in. Referees decided the the challenge wasn't dangerous. And Brett Morris is with the ball, out of a tackle, claimed from behind by Hodges. And away goes Maloney, out looking for a winger, but there was no winger. He just played the ball. Now Merrin. 1.5 minutes to go. And here is Greg Bird. So there's quite a few records that are going to be adjusted with only 1.25 minutes to go. And James Maloney will be the first 5/8 on debut for New South Wales to come out as a winner. It'll also be the first match. Here's a drop shot from Hayne, but it'll roll down into the deep. And no, it won't go dead. But New South Wales aren't chasing. So Slater jogging it back. And then turning on the red rose to be tackled on the 20. New South Wales haven't won a first match since 2008. Greg Inglis. 30 seconds to go. And this pro-New South Wales crowd is counting it down. They're rising out of their seats. As Queensland go quickly, wide to the right. The ball is knocked on. Double knock on. Here's full time. The Blues win 14-6. First time in an opener since 2008. Holden State of Origin, the scoreboard reads New South Wales 1, Queensland 0.